Hello, friends. I'm here. Bird of Inferno, hello. How are you? Marathnon, hello. Exile Fae, hello. How are you, my friends? Sorry I'm running a little bit late today. It is, of course, Monday. I forgot to run ads during the initial. Sorry. I guess that means pre-rolls are going to run, which I apologize. This is Living. Hello, hello. How are you guys? Oh my gosh, for anyone who has been following this weird wild saga that has become my life, I actually just decided to pop into the pharmacy yesterday. Ghost and I were going to a store that was right next to my pharmacy. So I was like, all right, let's just pop in there because they're open on Sunday and see if they have my prescription. And not only did they have my prescription, it was dated Monday. So they had it the last time I called, and they just didn't even look for it. Cheers, Marathnon. Here's some glasses for you. So I'm pretty annoyed. But they are ordering the medication. They'll have it for me by Wednesday evening, so I can start it on Thursday. Angel Faye, hello. Did I run? No. But I feel like I've been running around this morning. I just had a lot. Monday mornings are a lot, which I should know. I should know better than to do a stream on Monday morning, but I got my water, got my notebook, ready to be productive. Yes. We're going to be doing notes today. So, I don't know how much I'll be using the sprint timer, but I can absolutely turn it on for all of you in chat who want to make use of writing sprints. I might be a little bit more mechanical talky today. I might talk a bit more about what I'm doing on the screen because I'm actually going to be noting some edits. And way back in the long ago on Ghost's channel, I did a stream that was similar to this with my Aravalia Chronicles back before I had my own channel and a layout and any form of like regular stream. I did something very similar where I went through a book I had already written and I was updating my outline and making notes on how I plan to edit that. I'll probably do 2 of these. So normally what I do is when I finish a draft, I go back to my outline because my outline does not match what I wrote. There are places where I improvised or went off track or didn't know what I was originally going to do and now do know. There are a lot of something happens that will turn into what actually happened. So this just it keeps my quick reference up to date so that if I need to know what happens in each chapter, I can go back to the outline of that chapter and know accurately what's in it. It also is going to be, I'm going to put down my initial notes. So my initial thoughts on what's working and what's not. I have quite a few thoughts on things that aren't working, which on the one hand is good because it means I know what's wrong with the story and how to fix it. But on the other hand, it also means that the story's not as good as I hoped it would be the first time. Which is normal. This is a new series, something that hasn't been kicking around. So the Aravalia Chronicles has been kicking around in my head since like 2011. And I pretty consistently think about it. This is something that I've just sort of started developing. The seeds have only recently been planted. So it makes sense that the garden is a bit more of a mess. It's a bit disheartening. Yeah, exactly. Like, I hoped that more of the story would flow naturally when I did the first draft, and it just didn't, which is fine. This is not abnormal. I mean, anyone who is listening, don't get totally discouraged by what I'm saying, because sometimes you have works in progress that will flow really well and will just be bang, 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 exactly what you want it to be. And sometimes you have ones that are more like this, which is, I think it's a really good idea. I think the characters are really interesting. I think I did hit some really good points writing this first draft, but I just also missed the mark. And so I have to do the work, right? I have to go in and do the editing. I have to smooth it out. I have to make those parts of the concept that are maybe a little bit rough feel good. Just gives you an opportunity to develop your craft some more too. Exactly. It's nice when something flows easily and when the edits just fall in line, and it's great, but that's not always how it goes. And I think it's important to talk about both, right? Because some people will think, well, if it didn't flow for me, if it's really hard, then it means it's bad. And that's not necessarily true. That means it's challenging. That means it's a harder story than you expected, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad or that you're doing a bad job. Being productive can be so tiring. It is though, like seriously, like doing this kind of stuff, doing writing and everything, it's as tiring as physical labor. And I tell people that all the time, and I think only people who have experienced it really believe that. So I'm probably going to do 2 sessions of this. The first one will be today, where we're going to go through, we're going to make each chapter outline match what I actually wrote in the story. And I'm going to jot down some little red notes. A lot of these are going to be move this chapter around or add more details of this. Just little bits and pieces of initial thoughts, initial suggestions from the me of now, the me of having just written this book, saying what I think it needs. And then this whole project will go on the shelf for hopefully about a month and a half. I won't touch it again until December. I'll hopefully think about it. It'll hopefully be like percolating in the back of my brain, as edits for the 3rd trilogy of Aravalia are currently doing. And then I will work on something else. I'm going to be working on Aravalia Chronicles for NaNoWriMo, which starts next Tuesday. Cannot believe. And then we will come back to this in December and do another like pre-editing session where I will actually decide, okay, I agree with this note, we're going to do this, or I disagree with this note, we're going to do it differently. And that just gives me a chance to say, here's what I think now, and then here's what I think after sober thought. Sometimes sober thought me will agree with the me of now, the me of just having finished, and sometimes sober thought me will be like, what was the me of after that first draft thinking, because she just had this really critical view that's wrong. So I highly, highly recommend, whether you're a plotter or a pantser, have that moment of reflection absolutely at the end of your first drafts, but realize that your opinion might be biased, right? We've just come out of the trenches. We're just looking back at this massacre that we've done of word vomit. And obviously I have a very strong opinion of that. But once I have time to sit down and think about it and have distance from it, my opinion might completely change. And so, if you're a plotter and you're trying to fix your outline, highly recommend that you have some space in between and then come back to that outline. And if you're a pantser, just reread it again a few months later and see if it feels different. I know, next Tuesday, that is actually super close. I keep not thinking about it to focus on finishing my current project. I mean, that's probably a good idea. If you're trying to get something done, focus on that before you worry about Nano. I'm not ready. I am ready, but not ready. Like, I've got a plan, but I still feel completely unprepared. I'm going to try to learn to sew soon, and I can already tell I'm going to get tired. Sewing is really rewarding, though, because you can see it coming together. I don't have my cross stitch with me right now. It's over across the room, but it's not quite the same as sewing, but it's same sort of concept where you just slowly work away at it and it builds up. I finished the horse head on Saturday on Flutter's stream, and I've started doing the hair now, so I'm excited about that. I'm ready but not ready to. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have a, like, writing plan, like I have an outline for my novel and I have a plan of like which days I hope to get which scenes done. Completely unprepared emotionally, physically, and spiritually for the experience that I'm about to have. So it's gonna be interesting. Also, I did mention this on the Discord, but for anyone who's not necessarily on our Discord, next Thursday, so not this Thursday outside of NaNoWriMo, but next Thursday when we are in NaNoWriMo, I'm going to be doing that 12-hour writing stream that you guys unlocked for the Chairathon. I'm going to be starting, hopefully, I want to say 9:30, but I have a feeling it's going to be 10. So we're going to hopefully start at 10 a.m. and finish at 10 p.m. I'm going to be doing my entire work day on camera. Also, I'm going to be eating on camera because I'm going to have meals in there somewhere. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing 2 writing sessions. So we're basically going to start up in the morning, and I'm also going to be in the midst of my 50K in 7 days challenge on that day. So there is going to be a mass of writing in the morning. We'll take a lunch break. I will eat on stream and chat with you guys, and then we will do another mass of writing in the afternoon. And hopefully I'll have time to do like some of my social media stuff that I usually do, some of my like maintenance stuff. And if we have extra time at the end, if we finish everything and we still have time left on the clock, I'll read a little bit more of Dreamers Do Lie to top us off for the night. I am in PST, so it is currently 10:37 in the morning for me right now. So we'll be starting around this time, hopefully a little earlier, and going for 12 hours. It's gonna be bonkers. I'll be hoping to write 10,000 words that day on stream in that 12 hours. So we'll see how it goes. Hey Kiki, how's it going? I know you were working on your book over the weekend. How did it go? So yeah, just a little preview of the insanity that's coming up on the channel for NaNoWriMo. Thank you, Bird of Inferno. I appreciate that. I'm also going to be a reporting stream for Game of Tomes this month. I was not back in July just because I was very new to the community. I missed the submission period, but also I had no idea what was going on, and I didn't want people coming on my stream and being like, what's Game of Tomes? And me being like, I don't know, I'm still learning. But now, yeah, I'm going to be a reporting stream for Game of Tomes. So I have that all set up. My application has been approved. I have sort of found a little bit of a role-playing niche in one of the houses, which I'm excited about. I'm talking with some people, not about some people. I'm talking with some people about recording a lore video for one of the upcoming streams, so I'm really excited about that. So yeah, I've dipped my toes in the Game of Tomes community, and I'm hoping to I am House Mollusca. I don't know if you can see in the small camera, but this is an octopus, and that's a squid, and there's another octopus sitting right there above my finger. I'm very octopusy. So I am House Mollusca, and my character Striker is actually a little blue octopus, after the style of this little blue octopus that's in my emotes. And he is the nephew of Coffee, the Cosmic Kraken. So I just threw myself head first into that fire. And I'm really excited about it because it's been a while since I've been a part of a larger writing role-playing community, and I think it's gonna be really good for me to have people to hang out and talk about that kind of stuff with that aren't my husband just sitting there listening to me talk for like an hour and then being like, that's great, honey. My husband is a saint, but he does deserve a break. How's Avis? Nice! I don't participate in the RP myself, but it's very fun. Yeah, I'm sort of on the fringes of the RP. I like that it's very, like, the way, if any of you are listening to me talk about this and are like, I am not really into roleplay, how can I do the Game of Tomes thing? The roleplay is totally optional. You don't have to like, create a character and get involved in the plots. It's all for fun. It's just a little extra thing for storytelling surrounding the event, and that is sort of shaped by how the event is going. And there is also filking in the community. Again, you don't have to be a filker to enjoy it. You can just watch what other people come up with, which I love doing because there's so many creative people in this community. It's amazing. If you want to just show up and write your words and report your words to your house and contribute to the overall score, you can totally do that. There's no pressure, and I really like that. I like that there's a lot of different levels of participation, and you can basically choose the one that works for you, and it's great. Yeah, absolutely, Bird of Inferno, go for it. So totally check it out. It's not too late to join. I joined like midway through the first week of the July tourney. So 100% there's still time to go in, check it out. The family, they are pretty much a family. The community is very open, very welcoming. As soon as you say hey in the Discord, there will be a bunch of people to help you find a house that you identify with. I believe that you can change houses in between games as well. So if you like a lot of the houses, you can join one for this NaNoWriMo. You can change for the next tourney if you want to. And it's just great. It's just a little competition, a little extra thing to encourage you to get your words in. So check out that link that Bird of Inferno dropped, because it's super cool. My coworkers are the worst. They didn't give this one guy a break for some reason, so now I have to end my break early to break him. Oh. That sounds weird? So they want to have more break, and they don't care about other people having their break, is what it sounds like. I'm sorry, Diz is living. It's not great when the team can't work together. And be considerate of all the people. So yeah, there's a little preview of what is coming up on the channel next week. Probably going to be doing a stream Tuesday after. I haven't quite set my schedule in stone yet, so this is also aside from the 12-hour stream, which will happen on Thursday. Everything else is a little loosey-goosey, but I'm hoping to do a stream probably Tuesday afternoon to kick off NaNoWriMo in some capacity and just start getting those words in. I am doing part of the Game of Tomes 50K in 7-day challenge, so I am going to be aiming to write 10K a day Tuesday through Friday, and then probably sleep on Saturday. Also, oh no, that's this Saturday. I was gonna say I have to get this Saturday I'm getting my combination COVID-19 and influenza vaccines. So I'm assuming they're just gonna do one in each arm, and that's gonna be super fun. There's 6 of us out here and only 3 jobs to do, so it should be 50-50, but no. Instead, they stuck this dude out all morning without a break. What a trooper that he put up with that. But yeah, no. Let him have a break. Everybody gets a break. Alright, I got to blow my nose here. Apologies. And then we're gonna get started. If you guys want, maybe I'll attempt that this year. I'll just do reverse nano, which can be stressful. What's reverse nano? I've not heard that term before, and I'm very curious. But yeah, I went back and checked my numbers for like what my best weeks are, and I think I usually can do about 38,000 words comfortably. Every now and then I have a spike where I do, 8,000 or 9,000 words in a day. And it's great. But I have very, very few 10K days in the history of tracking my word counts. And also, I'm looking at easily 12 or 13K more than I usually do in a week. So, and I try to take weekends off, so I'm trying to do this in 5 days. So it's going to be a challenge. You start with a word count goal of 3.5. It goes down all month, and the last day your goal is... Oh, okay, that makes sense. So instead of spreading out the words evenly, you do a big push at the beginning. He's been out all morning since... I didn't know he's been out all morning since I was on the other side, and when I tried to give him a break earlier, he said for me to go first because he knew I had been out for a few hours. Aww. It's okay. I'm sure he wanted to do something nice for you, it sounds like. So he'll appreciate that you were able to get your break in first. Hey, Neo, how are you? My room was freezing. I can't finish writing, so luckily my mother had a fireplace heater that I was using to warm my room. Well, I'm glad you got a heater, Kiki, because it's no fun to be cold. As you can see, I am in full warmth mode because it has started to get chilly here. Neo, how are you? Let me know if you guys want the sprint timer on. I can absolutely turn that on while I am working through some of this stuff. I might just be a little bit more talky than usual. And I'm basically just going to go through each scene and make sure that what I've written in the outline is accurate, and then put down my notes for what I want to do. And I already, having retroactively thought about this a bit, I'm pretty happy with the opening scene. I think the opening scene is pretty good. Yeah, sure, we'll do a sprint timer. Let me just yak in your ear for one more minute here, and then we'll turn it on. I'm doing pretty good, Neo. I managed to track down my prescription that my doctor did, in fact, put in for me at the pharmacy. So I'm hopefully going to get that this week and get started taking the meds that my doctor wants me on for my thyroid. And I'm doing pretty good. How are you? How have you been? Are you back to work? I know you were sick for a while. But yes, I feel pretty happy with the first scene. I don't think the first scene needs a ton of work. I'm pretty happy with having this sort of outside perspective of the main character. I do think the second scene is going to need some work. I definitely have realized that I need to go, because I've created a magic system that's very different from all of the other magic systems I've ever written about / read about. I feel like I need to go back and sort of front load some information about that into the first couple scenes. So definitely want to get some of that into the first chapter. But let's do a sprint. And then I might have to go reheat my coffee after that. Working right now. The other dude is taking a break right now. Ah, so are you writing something? Are you writing a presentation right now, Neo? Is that what's happening? All right, let's do 20 minutes. There might not be as many clicky clackies as usual, but there will be some. I get to step through the opening into something today. Exiled Faye, my phone, what my phone came up with for that was so bonkers. Although I could use a break from the laundry, not gonna lie. Co-working. Oh, okay. Well, good luck, Neo. I hope it goes well. I hope you get your break time soon. All right. Oh yeah, I should make a note that I'm thinking of changing the title, actually, from someone's errant child to someone's suffering child. Because I think I wanted to make the next one wayward, and I think it's the same. I actually think I'm just going to change the title, because I like it better. Done. Done and dusted. I'll change it in here, too. I only had to change it in like 4 places. That's fine. Have your daughter, yeah, have my non-existent daughter do the laundry. The other person is the same kind of worker I am. He never stops working. The break right now is just him eating food. You're working until midnight? Neo! Good luck, Neo. Alright, so... Ah, yes, that reminds me. I need to mark down how many words in this so that I know how many I change. Almost forgot. So I just put all my new notes in red so that I know that I need to change something. I had a quick writing challenge that I just finished, and now I don't want to do anything. Your motivation is like, hey, you did a thing. Now you're done. I know that feeling all too well. ECC Books, hello, hello! How are you? What is up? How's it going? Hey, Daz. Hey, Tempest. How are you? How was your stream? What were you working on today? We're doing notes for... I just finished a first draft, and I'm a bit of a plancer. So I had a plan. I didn't entirely follow it, so I am updating the plan so that it retroactively matches what I actually wrote. Spooktober prompts, nice, nice. So I'm updating my outline so that it matches what I actually wrote, and I'm putting in little red notes to tell myself what I might want to change. So just noting places where I need to add more description or change some details, and I'm starting to put in notes about potentially swapping scenes around. I'm also making notes of all of the people that I didn't give names in the first draft that will probably need names. Because I'm really bad of if I didn't think of a name ahead of time, they just don't get a name while I'm doing the first draft. I'm using my iPad to get some writing done. I should be record of me writing, but I overslept again. Kiki, it's okay. Not everything goes according to plan. I was late getting started today, too. Oh my goodness. I'm actually looking over this, I know there's already a sea of red, but I'm actually pretty happy with how the initial scenes in the book were composed. I mostly just need to go back and add a little bit more description and a little bit more context to some of the initial settings, which makes sense. Like, this is a brand new thing. I did only the amount of world building that I felt I needed to do ahead of time, so doing a little extra world building in between drafts isn't the worst thing. And I don't yet have anything that feels like a really major change, although I do know later on there's a scene that I pretty much have to rewrite. Hey, Halo, how are you? What is up? Thank you for the stretch. Oh, you guys can see my new Molly Mock t-shirt I'm super excited about. And a hydrate. Cheers. Hey, Emperor of Finland. It's going pretty good. How are you? I'm ill with the flu, but other than a headache and itchy throat, I'm actually doing very well. Oh, Halo, I'm so sorry to hear that. The flu is absolutely the worst. I hope you feel better soon. I hope you're taking care of yourself. It sounds like you are. But I really hope that those lingering symptoms go away soon, because it's no fun. Yes, indeed. Sending all the healing vibes to you. I was just saying earlier that I'm getting, this Saturday, Ghost and I are getting both our most recent COVID-19 boosters and also a flu vaccine. So at the same time, on the same day. 2 needles at once. Super excited. Not at all, because I hate needles. But yeah, because I really, really do not want to get sick this winter. I'm just not a fan. Yeah, I was talking to Ghost about it yesterday, and he was like, well, you didn't react to the other COVID vaccines. And I'm like, yeah, I'm more worried about the flu one. I'm more worried about getting a little mild flu from the flu vaccine, because it's not fun, and I don't want it. But I also don't want to get, like, my husband works in a germ factory and they're not doing masks anymore at school, so I don't want to get sick. I'm done with being sick. Monster deals with the throat, and the headaches aren't much worse than the ones I get from switching. So it's actually not that bad. Well, that's good. I mean, Halo, that's good. Any silver lining. I just know that sickness sucks. I did about 6 to 8 hours of work with 3D models, making collision models and fixing 3D models. I got the collision models done for all the cars, and got N181 rear wing and front wing remapped. Nice! That sounds very complicated to me, because I don't know anything about 3D modeling, but it also sounds very cool. I'm just going to finish making notes on chapter 4 here quickly, and then I might just pop out, have a quick bio break. Um, I know I started late, so we haven't been going for quite an hour yet, but I just need to I need to refresh my copy. This scene that I'm making notes on now, I distinctly recall I completely ignored what my initial plan was for this scene, and I just wrote something that felt fun at the time, so I have to update my outline so that it matches. Alright. Not bad to get through the first 4 chapters. Many, many more to go, but we shall see. Like I said, I think I'm just gonna pop AFK really quick here for a quick bio break, because I want to get really stuck into this, and I don't think I'll take another break for a while. So we will do another sprint when I get back, and basically, because I haven't been describing all of this stuff out loud, but basically, I've made a note that I want to put more context on the initial couple settings, because I have my characters just appearing in a few places, but we don't really know where they are or why they're important in any context of the greater story. I also want to put more information about the magic system and how it works into the initial chapter, because I feel like it kind of got skipped over and there's no really better place to put it. Especially because we have our main character using magic in the first scene, but I kind of brain farted and didn't put that information in there. And then I also would like to describe the Mage Council in greater detail, because I specifically, while I was writing that scene, I had really only come up with one person in the Mage Council, what I kind of wanted him to look like. So I'm just kind of leaving myself a note to go back and develop a few more of those characters and add the descriptions of them in. So that it's not just a room full of, like, vague, faceless people that she's talking to. And then a couple of little notes to myself to add names for people, because I'm very, very bad at coming up with names. But aside from that, I think the first 4 chapters, I mean, probably the first 6 or 7 chapters are pretty solid. And I'm just making a note to maybe swap a couple of scenes to drive up the tension a little bit more in the early chapters, instead of having large chunks of sort of episodic content, to switch back and forth a bit so it feels a little bit cliffhanger-y. Just, again, like the mechanics of trying to keep the tension pretty consistent throughout. And that's it. Hopefully gonna get to the midpoint or close to the midpoint on the next sprint, and we'll see how that goes. So I will BRB. I'm back. Sounds like a good plan. You got this. Thank you, Bird of Inferno. I appreciate that. I always, to me, the most daunting thing about doing a novel is always getting things organized for the edits. So while I'm excited to be going through this draft and writing this stuff down and feeling like I am starting to make the improvements, it's also, it feels a little bit like a mountain. So I definitely appreciate the encouragement. Because if ever I was going to throw my hands into the air and be like, I can't do this, it would be at this part of the process. Same, that's the stage I'm on. And I keep just not doing it. Yeah, it can be, because it's almost like you're like chipping away at the side of a mountain, right? And it just feels really big and over the top. Oh yeah, I was gonna grab the horse head. Hang on. It just feels really big and really difficult and like you're not getting anywhere even though you're desperately clawing at it. So I'm just gonna put that timer on again and go at it. But look, you guys can't quite, there's a little bit that's not showing because it's in the hoop, but I finished the horse head and you can start to see the hair up in the top here that I'm working on now. I'm very happy with it. It's taken a while to get here, but we're slowly getting there. Yeah, so I figured I would show that for anyone who didn't get to see it over the weekend. I usually do take craft breaks, so at my lunch break I might do a strand, and then in the evenings I work on it. But I get most of the work done on Friday nights on stream, so I'm really happy with how it's come together. There's a lot of this cross stitch kit. I think has more colors than anyone I've ever done, and it like there's a lot of different shades of blue. I don't know how well you can see on the camera how many different shades of blue there are, but it's beautiful. It's like little pixel art, and it blends together really well once it's on the canvas. So I am excited. So I'm working on that for my good friend It's Woof. And then once I want to get enough of the hair done that I can do the horse's other ear. And then once I get that done, I'm going to switch back to the Beauty and the Beast cross stitch and work on that one a little bit more. It's a bit smaller. It's a bit easier. And that one, the Beauty and the Beast one, is for my good friend Flutterdye. But for now, let's get stuck back in. Let's have another sprint timer and see how this goes. There's this particular part of the book that I'm worried about, but I'm not to that part yet. That is future year's problem then? Exactly. Exactly. I feel like I have to shuffle a lot of different scenes here. I'm already changing my mind about some of these notes. I'm gonna actually move this. Had to update your iPad? Welcome back, Kiki. I hope the update went smoothly. Melee fight with a giant octopus. Ooh, that sounds super cool, but also hard to write. Because 8 legs is a lot to keep track of. I have enough problems keeping track of Domeran's 2 swords, so I imagine 8 legs worth of combat is a lot. Especially if it's happening in the water. I mean, I figure if it's on land, the octopus would need some of those legs for standing, but if it's in the water, oh boy, that is octopus territory. Good luck. Good luck, Exiled Fae, but also I can't wait to read this scene. I can't wait to read this combat. I know the exact feeling of, I want this scene to be badass, but oh shit, that means I have to write it. actually. This is another one of those scenes that completely jumped the track. I just, instead of writing she had to trust Jalen to do the shopping for them, I almost write she had to trust him to do the shipping for them. Totally different thing, shipping and shopping. And I don't know if Aleith really wants Jalen to be shipping at this point, so there we go. Oh, it's break time. Nice. Got a bit further that time. We're actually working on the end of chapter 9. Productivity. Yes, exactly. We're being productive. We probably won't have big breaks necessarily today like we usually do because there's a lot of this and my brain is fairly entrenched in things. But how are you guys doing, chat? How are your projects going? Are you guys getting some word flow? Are you taking some breaks? Are you feeling good? It's Monday, which means motivation may be harder than usual, but there's a nice week stretching out ahead of us, full of possibility, full of discovery, leading up to NaNoWriMo. And that will definitely be a month of discovery for sure. For sure. Oh, I just saw that she was born to be an author meme. That's so funny. Unfortunately, the person I work with must stop. Family thing. Does that mean that you have to also stop working, Neo? Or does that mean that you just keep going without him? Family. Such a pesky little thing, right? I work alone, of course. I wouldn't expect you to take a break, Neo. Not you, of all people. I'm actually, just to, because I've been doing commentary on what I've been doing. I'm actually really happy with sort of the middle, the beginning middle, at least, of the book, the sort of 25 to 50% stretch. I feel like the plot beats are all there. I'm going to pull Ciri's narrative a little bit more, into a little bit earlier into the book, and I'm trying to spread her scenes out a bit more, so I have some concentrated blocks of stuff happening with Ciri. I think I'm going to break those up so that they're more consistently interjecting with what's happening with Elaith and Jaylen. And then hopefully that redistribution of things is going to pull the tension through a little bit more. I feel everything is pretty solid up to the 50% point. I need to... There's a scene that I need to rewrite with Ciri because there's a big lull in the tension, so I need to fix that. And I need to put in a crisis point for Jaylen, because we kind of... When I was writing it the first time, I kind of skirted his crisis point a lot. I think I was planning on saving it for the next book, but I definitely think he needs to have a crisis point in this book, even if there's a more severe one in the next book. So those are the two really big things that needs to get in there, is Ciri having consistent tension throughout her plot, and Jaylen having a crisis point. And probably what I'm going to do is when I get through this, when I've finished making notes for all the chapters and what my initial thoughts on how to rearrange things are, is I'm going to come over to my side space over here, and I'm just going to trace my character arcs and make sure that it feels like each of our three main characters is getting some character development throughout the book. And then that will help me see if I have any plot beats missing. I don't think I'm missing any scenes that need to be added in, but I definitely have a few scenes that need to be rewritten. So that is what I'm focusing on right now. And you'll notice that I'm kind of flipping through my manuscript, scanning over it, trying to remind myself of what happened in each scene so that I can find those places where it's lacking. Don't remember if you said how many words was the draft. It is 66,078. So basically 66,000 words first draft. I expect that will come down because I definitely have a tendency to overwrite. But there are some descriptions that are missing, so it's probably going to even out. I would expect it to be probably around 60K when it's finished, which is good. Good solid novel size. I asked if I can learn how to write a teaching book so I can write more than presentations. I want to have every tool to be independent. In the next 8 or 10 years, I want to expand my field of work, then go independent. That would be amazing, Neo. Good luck with that. It's a good goal to have. I'm glad that you have discovered this passion for writing. I think it will serve you well. Why are you thinking me, Neo? I didn't do anything. I'm just here to support you and cheer you on and be happy that you started something new and that it worked out so well for you. Gotta head out, got my writing done and some reading for my book club on Friday. Bird of Inferno, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm really glad that you stuck around, and thank you so much for the encouragement. I really appreciate it. Take care, have a good rest of your day. I'll be back on Wednesday. I forgot what day it was for a second there. I was like, wait, what day is it? Where am I? I'll be back on Wednesday, and I hope to see you there. Or then. Whatever a day is. A time, a place, whatever. Take care, Bird of Inferno. Oh my gosh. It's Monday morning and my brain doesn't want to words, which, you know, ironically, being a writer doesn't go necessarily the best. Yeah. Ghost and I watched, I discovered the writing world on your stream. Well, I'm glad that I could introduce you to the writing world, but it was your choice to embrace it, Neo. So the credit goes to you. You did all that hard work and it paid off. And that's the important thing. I would have loved to have some kind of technical writing job when I was younger. But it just didn't work out that way. Ghost and I finished watching Rings of Power last night. Which we liked it. We liked Rings of Power, but I feel like they should have done a longer season. I feel like 8 episodes was not enough. Even at an hour and 10 minutes a pop, like, it felt like they did the midpoint turn and then they ended the season. And it's like, there's so much more that should have happened in this. Yeah, I mean, they definitely pulled a lot of lore from the Silmarillion, which they actually have done a fairly good job of. I just think that it should have been longer. Like, I don't know why they chose that as their end point for the season. I feel like it should have been, I feel like they should have had at least 10 episodes. I feel like there should have been more. Oh, they didn't get the rights, so they had to avoid... That's really weird, because they're using the lore from the Silmarillion. Like, it's pretty accurate, too. They skipped some stuff, that explains why Galadriel is the way that she is, but I kind of understand why they skipped it. It's pretty accurate to what I know of the lore. They're technically using the appendices. I mean, the Silmarillion is basically just one big appendice to the series. A lot of the Silmarillion is like the prehistory. It happens before the sun and the moon. It was dark in Middle-earth for quite a lot of its history. I kind of wish they had done a bit more in the Morgoth time. The Silmarillion is basically the fantasy Bible. It really is. It starts with the description of how the gods sang the world into existence. And Morgoth believed that he knew better than the ultimate creator god. And so he sang a counterpoint and interfered with the creation, and this is how darkness and evil and essentially Morgoth's corruption came into the world. And that's like the opening of the Silmarillion. The Silmarillion is very dry. It's not really a story. It's not really a for anyone who hasn't read it, it's not really a novel. It's basically a creation. It's a world building document. But I do know, spoilers if you don't know the lore, close your ears for a second. I do know that it did talk about how the Rings of Power were made in the Silmarillion. And according to the elves, that is essentially how the rings holding the Silmarils were forged. So it's accurate to what I know of the lore. Yeah, you might like it, Neo. I liked it. I don't understand why people were so desperate for that show to be bad. I really wish there had been more of it. I really wish it had been like 5 episodes longer. I'm really interested to see them do more of it because I think it was really good. I think they did a pretty good job with keeping it accurate to the lore, the greater lore of the Lord of the Rings universe. And yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with it. After the disappointment of She-Hulk, it was nice to have something. It was nice to have something. The haters were a combo of anti-Amazon and racist. Yeah, oh yeah. I think people who didn't like the casting for that show worked really hard to find other flaws in the show so that they could just bitch about them. But the actual, like, legitimate criticisms of that show, I feel, are very few. Everything I write is dry as a bone. I mean, that's fine, Neo. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying if you're opening the Silmarillion expecting to read a fantasy novel, that's not really what it is. It's basically an accumulation of the notes of J.R.R. Tolkien that were sort of the backbone of the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit series of the books that he wrote. It's not a coherent story. There are little bits and pieces, almost like little fairy tales, that are written in it, but it doesn't have a plot. It's not really this is the beginning of the story, and then here's the end of the story, and ooh, wasn't that a satisfying story? It is basically like reading the Bible. And it's like, here's what happened at this time period. Here's what happened before the elves were created, because the elves were the first race, and which is why they are more perfect. And the dwarves were actually created by another god, one of the Maiar, who was impatient for life to come into the world. He wanted, Manwë wanted life right away, and he got very excited. So he went into the darkness, into the caves beneath the earth, and he created the dwarves, which is why the dwarves are short and stocky and not quite designed to the way the other races are. And because he was so innocently excited for the dwarves, for life to come into existence, instead of destroying the dwarves, the main creator god, the sort of ultimate god, put them to sleep for several generations, because the elves needed to be first. They were going to be the first creation. And then later, after the elves and the humans had come into the world, the dwarves awakened from the deep and became a viable race. And there was no sun and moon on Middle-earth in its early history. I don't know why I'm reciting this now, but here we are. There was no sun and moon in the early history. The Maiar, the gods of the Undying Lands, created a pair of trees, which you actually do see in the Lord of the Rings. One of the trees shone by day, and one of the trees shone by night. They were the only source of light in the world. During the prehistory, they did not reach the shores of Middle-earth. Middle-earth was forever in darkness. And the elves went to the Undying Lands to live in the light of the trees, and it was only after Morgoth convinced Ungolith, the spider, to suck the life from the trees that they were unable to salvage the trees. This is when Morgoth stole the Silmarils. Was he used this as a distraction to steal the Silmarils, and they were only able to salvage one leaf from each tree. They were placed into orbs, and they were given into the care of Fey creatures to circle the planet, and that is how the sun and the moon finally came into existence, and that is how the light of sun and moon finally reached Middle-earth. And there you go. That is a crash course in Middle-earth prehistory. That's the sort of thing that is in the Silmarillion. It's not really a once upon a time this happened and then this happened and then this happened. It's just kind of a mishmash of, and then Fëanor made these beautiful stones called the Silmarils that had the essence of